Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Matthew Holmquist and Lula Lou. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. Welcome back to the Wasteland 3 beta, as we continue our sneak peek at the post-apocalypse. Last time, we arrived in the frozen wastes of Colorado, met some of the locals, and then witnessed the Desert Rangers' last great hope literally fall apart around them. Now, we just have to pick up the pieces and figure out where to go from here. And I think those secret orders we received from Major Prasad are a good place to start. Orders from Ranger Command. Instructions to Major Vera Prasad. A. Take command of convoy-designated Team November and cross the Rocky Mountains to the city of Colorado Springs. Make contact with Saul Buchanan, aka the Patriarch. B. Establish a base of operations in Colorado Springs. Recruit and train additional personnel as needed. C. Preserve the life and position of the Patriarch at all costs. Do whatever is necessary to secure the aid promised to the Desert Rangers. D. Locate Colonel Angela Death and her advance team. If advance team is deceased, collect bodies for burial. If alive, ascertain reasons for loss of communication. Disciplinary action is authorized at your discretion. E. In the event of your death or incapacitation, these orders shall apply to the senior surviving member of the expedition. Wade Woodson, Commanding General, Desert Rangers. Well, not to disrespect the late Major Prasad, but at least he accomplished one of those orders. Though the simple fact that we are apparently the highest-ranking survivors does not bode well.
Was that Major Prasad? They got her? God damn it. Fuck this place. Fuck it.
Welcome, Rangers. You may approach the Patriarch.
Three, when there were 50. Cold logic says I should turn you away. That there aren't enough of you left to do the job at hand. But that Dorsey ambush was my fault. And I owe you more than explanations and apologies. So, here's something more tangible. The Dorseys didn't just attack you. They attacked my city. This one was trying to burn down our jail. If you want some vengeance for what was done to you, he's yours.
We believe in justice, not vengeance. You should give him a trial.
How civilized. Around here, we save trials for those whose guilt is in doubt. But if that's what you want, I'll introduce him to Judge Watkins. He always follows the law. I'd like to bring all the Dorseys to justice. And maybe, with your help, I will. But for now, let me address your immediate needs. In addition to this base, and the aid I promised your general, I'll be giving you the resources to return your force to full strength. Recruiting, training, and equipping. It's not enough. I know. The men and women you lost can never be replaced, but it's what I can give you. I hope you'll accept it.
Do you have nerve damage? Your hands are shaking.
My hands don't shake. There's nothing wrong with me. And if you say there is, you'll be going back to Arizona empty-handed. Understood? Now quit asking about things that aren't your concern, and answer the question. Will you accept my offer?
Fair enough. Thank you, Patriarch. We appreciate anything you can do for us.
I'm glad to find you so amenable. I hope that means we're going to get along. Now, introductions. My name is Saul Buchanan. I own Colorado, though you'll meet some who disagree. This base is your new home. From here, you'll aid my people and, more importantly, do the job I brought you here to do. Now... Yes, Joe?
Pardon, Patriarch. It's Daisy. An update on the Garden of the Gods?
All right. Sorry, Rangers. Still putting out fires. Two of my best are waiting for you inside. Darius Quan of the Marshals and my old friend Sergei Greatsky. Go see him. I'll be in when I'm done here.
Okay, that was interesting. Let's have a look around.
Pleased to meet you, Rangers.
Adamant and Immaculate. I'm guessing those are his personal bodyguards. An old weather-worn pedestal. The inscription is fading and illegible. This crudely painted sign says Colorado Springs, with an arrow pointing south.
I need to rest a spell. Catch my breath. That all right with you?
How are your injuries? Recovering okay?
I'm still healing up. Go out and find your footing while I get back on my feet.
Are you missing Arizona?
Oh man, more every day. This place is nice and all. Kinda majestic with all the mountains and wild weather, but it's hard to enjoy it when I know everybody back home is dying by inches. We gotta finish up our business with the Patriarch and get the supplies he promised us back home. People are counting on us. My folks are counting on us. Sorry, I just want to get this done and get back to them.
Yeah, I hear ya. Talk to you later, Jody.
Later.
Okay, let's go have a look at our new base.
Welcome, Rangers. I'm Marshal Darius Quan, and this here's Sergei Greatsky.
Good to meet you, Rangers. Glad to see some friendly faces. Been rough around here these last few days. Dorsey's attacked us too. Snuck inside Colorado Springs and killed a lot of people. Situation's under control now. Mostly.
What were the Dorseys after?
The Patriarch. Thank God they never got near him. He's the only thing keeping Colorado from tearing itself apart.
And sorry about these alarms. Something must have triggered the old security system. Trouble is, there's a bunch of angry robots guarding the computer that shuts them off. How you deal with them is your call. Your base, your rules.
Angry robots? Why are there angry robots?
Yeah, weird, huh? They weren't active when we looked the place over a few days back, but... let's talk after you kill the alarms. I can hardly hear myself think.
It's always got to be something. Oh, hey, there's our first toaster. Definitely want to crack that thing open. Well, guess we're going through the one unlocked door.
Alarm! All your aid, alarm! A more big to you in the Uber. Visit a secure bunker bed facility. You commit trespassing against. Before for irritation or you will be defeated.
The finest pre-war technology. We're the Arizona Rangers, a successor unit to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We are government representatives.
Please help Exsellsior. Still Exsellsior, remain on hold. All for irritation provisionally accepted. Servitors will remain watchful on you.
Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate your cooperation. Now, let's see what we can do here. The terminal is dusty and old, but when you press the power button, it flickers to life. The computer beeps and whirs for the first time in years. As it boots up, security alert flashes across the display. Every attempt to access a menu is met with command access only. Eventually, you query the machine for command's identity. It replies, "Command empty. Designate new command?" Well, I guess that would be us. A camera flashes above the monitor, and terrible photos of your face slowly appear on the screen, line by line. Command recognized. Security alert canceled.
Well done, Rangers. Good to see the place up and running. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. The reason you're here. As you may know, I have a daughter and 2 sons. Liberty, Valor, and Victory. 2 of them conspired against me, and the third blackens the Buchanan name with every breath he takes. Consequently, I banished him. They've been skulking in the shadows ever since, but lately there's been rumors that I'm on my last legs. Lies, of course, but apparently my dear children believe them, and they've started making new plans.
And what? You want us to act as emissaries to your children? Make peace?
Peace? With those brats, you'd sooner tame a scorpion. I'm not worried about my children defeating me, Rangers. They won't. Not even Liberty. What worries me is the destruction they'll wreak as they fail. They'll tear my land and my people to shreds. They'll burn everything I've accomplished to ash. That's why they have to be stopped before they can start. That's why you, Rangers, have to find them and bring them home to me ASAP. And when I say bring them home, I mean bring them home alive. They're my blood. Kill them and we'll have a problem. Do I make myself clear?
What if taking your kids alive is impossible?
You've already done the impossible by making it here.
I trust you. Find a way to make it possible. Now, let me tell you where they are. Victory's holed up in Aspen. Valor's under the protection of the Gippers in Denver. And Liberty's raising an army against me somewhere out on the Eastern Plains. Anything else you need to know?
We'll need more background on your kids before we go after them.
What do you want to know?
For one thing, you must have plenty of competent people in Colorado. Why ask us to deal with your children?
Divided loyalty, that's why. I trust my guards, but they don't leave my side. Ever. Everybody else is making plans for when I'm gone. The 100 families, the Gippers, the Marshals, they're all out for themselves. And they know my kids would make good figureheads, give them some legitimacy. Any Coloradan I send to bring Vic, Val, and Libby back home might think they'll get a better deal elsewhere. But not you. I'm the only one who can save your people. Nobody else can get supplies to Arizona before they starve to death. That's why it's you who's doing this. You've got the only loyalty that works. The loyalty of self-interest.
Well, all right then. What should we know about Victory?
Boy's never been right in the head. Since he was a baby, he'd torture cats, terrorize the servants, set the house on fire, and he's only got worse. The things he's done to the women he finds. Anyway, I finally had enough and put the little monster under house arrest up in Aspen. Guess they weren't prepared, because he escaped a while ago and then came back with a gang of freaks and turned the place into a slaughterhouse. Now he's on the radio, laughing about what he's gonna do to his hostages and daring me to come after him. He, claims he's captured some rangers as well.
There are other survivors from the convoy. That's great news.
Don't get your hopes up. Vic likes to play with hostages. Might not be much left by the time you find them.
Great. What kind of man is Valor?
Soft, spoiled, fiddled with computers all day instead of learning the arts of diplomacy and war. Finally packed him off when he accidentally crashed my security systems right before his sister's little coup attempt. Made him my official ambassador to the Gippers, hoping he'd do to their systems what he'd done to mine. That was a mistake. He took his revenge by convincing them to cut off oil shipments to my city. No oil means no heat, no light, and no food for my people. So getting Valor back and resuming oil shipments from the Gippers has to happen now.
Who are the Gippers?
Crazy cultists. Worship an old U.S. president as a god. Trouble is, they're the only ones who know how to refine oil anymore, so we gotta play nice.
Tell us about Liberty.
Liberty's got more brains and cunning than both her brothers put together. She's the only one who could actually run Colorado. Problem is, she'd run it as a goddamn slave state. Everyone in chains, everyone working for her. Wouldn't worry about her for now, though. Best to wait until you got a little more firepower. She's gonna be well protected.
You're expecting her to try to usurp you?
She's already tried once. Got all the way to the palace steps before we chased her off. She's been licking her wounds out east ever since.
Thanks for the info. We'll do our best with them.
You'd better. Anything else?
We have a few things we'd like to ask about the Dorseys and the ambush.
Uh-huh.
Who are the Dorseys?
The last dregs of a treacherous family. Thought I'd wiped them out years ago, but... mistakes linger, Rangers. I know that better than most.
Do you think Vic, Val, or Liberty were behind the attack on our convoy?
Possibly. But I know the Dorseys from the old days. They don't take orders well. Then again, I wouldn't have guessed they'd have the guts to attack both you and Colorado Springs at the same time. So somebody put some fire in them.
Why do you say the ambush was your fault?
My staff and I coordinated the details of your arrival using coded transmissions on radio frequencies we thought were secure. Obviously, they were not. And you paid for it. I take full responsibility.
Gosh, thanks. All right, enough about the Dorseys.
Good. What else do you need?
You've been very generous already, but after all we've lost, there are a few things we could use here and now.
Name them.
We need more firepower. Some guns and ammo would be appreciated.
Understandable. I'll have Joe send you a few things once we get back to Broadmoor Heights.
Thank you for the briefing, Patriarch.
Of course. Now, if you want a chance to impress me and maybe get a little payback, that call I got outside was from Sheriff Daisy, the head of the marshals in Colorado Springs. She's having trouble rousting some Dorseys who have been holed up in the Garden of the Gods since their raid fell apart. Why don't you go give her a hand? Show us what the Rangers can do.
Sir, yes, sir.
That's what I like to hear. I expect great things from you, Rangers. Do good work. All right, let's move out.
Mission log. You've got a new mission. Press the J key to open your mission log. Mission types. Primary missions are main story missions. Secondary missions are optional side quests. You've just received the primary mission, Cornered Rats, so your next step should be paying a visit to Sheriff Daisy in downtown Colorado Springs. It is worth noting that I think Cornered Rats is actually the final mission in the current beta. Though, we also don't really get to do much in the way of secondary missions. I guess we'll have to wait for the full game to actually play with that stuff. I'll also say, I'm a little surprised at the level ranges on these three main missions. Especially the Psychopath, which was actually the subject of the Wasteland 3 Alpha. That means the Alpha was actually set pretty late in the main campaign. Anyway, let's have a look at those level ups. Buying attributes. Starting at level 3, your Rangers will earn 1 attribute point per level. Attributes always cost 1 point to upgrade. Attributes are the source of all your vital stats. Want to live longer, run faster, shoot straighter, or hit harder? There's an attribute for that. Nice. Okay. Let's use that to shore up one of our weak points. We could definitely use more constitution. As for our skill points, it's a little cheesy, but let's go ahead and bank those for now. We'll assign them as needed, as we actually encounter skill checks. Then we've got Orc Blood, and, you know what? I think we'll increase his speed. He could certainly stand to be a little more mobile. Alright, let's do a little looting. Ah, right. We still need a lockpicker. Brass knuckles. Pocket dock. Mounted to a piece of chest armor, this small box supplements medical treatment with sophisticated vitals data. Interesting. That is our first armor mod. Can't actually use it just yet, but still nice to have that in our pocket. I will say it's a little weird. You can see things through walls, but, oh, hey.
Rangers, come talk to me when you've got a moment. Want to discuss staffing and recruiting, that kind of thing. Good job, Rangers. Nice to be able to hear ourselves think again. And now that it's quiet enough to talk, let me reintroduce you to the great Sergei Greatsky, who's going to be helping you with personnel.
Hi again, Rangers. Damn sorry about your people. But now that you're here, we'll do what we can to get you back on your feet and find you some new recruits, just like the Patriarch promised you. And I already got you one of the best. Meet Marcelo Gonzalez, electronics wizard, radio technician, and former dispatcher for the Marshals. He'll be your radio operator.
Howdy, Rangers. While you were dealing with the alarms, I took the liberty of installing a combat AI in your vehicle. Should help you out. If you want to chat, I'll be in the operations room getting things up and running.
Should be more recruits arriving soon. Ready to tell me how you want to fill out your squad?
Ranger Headquarters, recruiting Rangers. Speak to Sergeant Greatsky to hire new Rangers for your squad. Your squad can have up to 6 members. No more than 4 can be Rangers. The other 2 slots may be filled by companions, such as Marshal Quan. Companions are unique NPCs who aren't officially Rangers, but want to help out all the same. You'll find plenty of companions on your journey through Colorado. Lovely. Quirks. Some Rangers are quirkier than others. Quirks are completely optional. Selecting a quirk gives your Ranger a powerful bonus and penalty, changing their playstyle dramatically. Character creation is the only chance you'll have to assign a quirk, and once you do, you're stuck with it. Choose wisely. Huh. You know what? Yeah. Show us who you've got lined up.
Sure thing. Let's have a look.
Okay. Wasn't quite planning for this, but I think I've got a pretty good idea of what we need. Let's get through this. Alright, first up, I think we need a science guy. Welcome aboard, Dr. Longway.
You started it. They've spotted us.
That works. And you know what? I think that works too. Let's tweak our appearance here. We will, of course, go with the guy with the glasses. I think we'll go with kind of a John Carpenter's The Thing appearance. Ooh, yeah, I like that. As for starting weapon, I think we'll go with pistols. Though, small arms also cover shotguns, so we do have some versatility there. We, of course, want Dr. Longway to be brilliant, so we'll bump his starting intelligence to 6. Oh, but it is worth noting that bonus to skill points is a one-time thing. It does not apply per level, so make sure you take that into account. As for the rest of his points, we'll just sprinkle those around a little. We'll put 2 points in coordination, 1 in strength, and let's put the last one in speed. Her skills will take all the smart guy stuff. Weird science. Nerd stuff. Both of the modding skills. And then we'll dump a couple of points into small arms. Ah, and we've got a couple of points left over, so I guess we'll use those to shore up his smart guy skills. And then we've got his quirk, and this one is obvious. We're going to go with Poindexter. That quirk grants 1 extra skill point every 3 levels, at the equivalent cost of 1 strength point worth of constitution. That is, of course, why we gave him 1 extra point of strength. That's got science covered. Now, we just need a stealthy sniper. Someone who can actually crack all these containers we keep running into. I guess this one will be Lula Lou.
You started it. They've spotted us. They see us.
You want to brawl, knock yourselves out.
Yeah, why not? We do need someone with high perception, so I guess that'll do. Weapons obvious. We're going with sniper rifles. I guess we'll go with Lady Skullface here. Oh, really? They don't actually have a Lady Skullface appearance. That is disappointing. I think the portrait had purple hair. Ah, I like that. Like the high collar, could live without the bib. Alright, good enough. Not like it'll matter once we start finding armor. Lula's our sniper. Let's go ahead and crank her awareness. And I guess we'll crank her luck, too. She is the one who's going to be opening most containers. Skill-wise, she'll basically get everything we haven't taken yet. You know what? We'll go ahead and skip survival. I wouldn't do that in the full game, but they have disabled the world map in the current beta, so there's not much point in investing in it. We'll just dump those extra points in lockpicking. Oh, shoot. Okay. Alright, we'll just shuffle a point here. There we go. She is now the master of unlocking. As for quirks, I mean, we could go with serial killer. That works well with high AP cost weapons. But I hate doubling up like that. We'll go with 2 Pump Chump. It's not as powerful, but it will help her get into position at the beginning of combat. Okay, let's get back to it.
Now that we've got that sorted, let's talk about the next steps. Now, you're the boss here, so I'm not going to tell you what to do, but getting this place up and running wouldn't be a bad place to start. That means surveying the base and finding specialists to staff it.
Before we get to all that, we've got a few questions.
Of course, ask away.
Can you and Quinn tell us more about yourselves?
Well...
Well, Sergei won't blow his own horn, so I'll do it for him. He's Colorado's greatest war hero. Fought by the Patriarch's side from the beginning and saved the old man's life about 100 times, right, Sergei?
75. Tops. Now, let me tell you about Mr. Slick here. Nobody knows the streets and alleys of Colorado Springs, or the people that live there, better than dashing Darius Quinn.
You're too kind, Sergei.
You two volunteered for this.
Yeah, I was getting a little itchy doing the same old in the marshals.
And retirement was driving me stir-crazy. Just sitting around listening to the paint peel. I jumped at the chance to help you folks out.
You both seem awful eager to help a group of unknown outsiders. Why are you really here?
It's no lie that I've been looking to leave the marshals, but you're right. That's not the whole story. The Patriarch asked me to keep an eye on you, so here I am.
And I am truly sick of retirement. But, yeah, I'm doing the Patriarch a favor, too.
So, you're spies?
Let's say liaisons. The Patriarch wants you to succeed, and he knows it's not going to be easy. You're strangers in a strange land.
You don't know the politics. You don't know the personalities. Who hates who? Where the bodies are buried.
That's where we come in. We're here to make sure you don't make too many rookie mistakes, step on the wrong toes. And yeah, we're supposed to report back to the Patriarch about how you're doing. But you didn't really expect to be left completely to your own devices, did you?
Fair enough. What was the deal with the alarms and the robots?
Not sure exactly. We came by a week and a half ago and it was stone quiet.
We were gonna get the place cleaned up before you got here. But then the Dorseys attacked the city, so it got put on the back burner.
Something must have triggered the security systems between then and now. Could have been anything.
How long has this place been abandoned?
Patriarch chased out the last big gang maybe 10 years back. Before that, all kinds of bandits, militias, and cults have lived here since the deluge.
Recently, it's been mostly outlaws and refugees. We should check around to see if there are any current occupants.
Could be what set off the alarms.
What's the deluge? We've been hearing that word a lot.
Around these parts, we call the nuclear apocalypse the deluge of fire, because, well, that's what it was.
Noah's flood was the deluge of water. The nukes were the deluge of fire.
What was the radio operator saying about putting a combat AI in our vehicle?
Gonzalez? He's a whiz with stuff like that. The AI will allow you to give the vehicle orders in combat without having to be inside it. Basically, it'll become another member of your squad.
All right, that's really all the questions we have for now.
Okay, what's next?
Surveying the base sounds good.
Perfect. That'll give you a chance to see if any of the junk around here is worth keeping, before I toss it all out. After that, you might want to give Sheriff Daisy a hand. If you impress her, maybe she'll hook you up with some specialists for the base. Anyway, your call. Colorado Springs is straight out the main gate. If you want to go to Denver or Aspen, just hop back in your car and go out the way you came in.
One sec. Forgive me for saying so, but I'm guessing you folks are gonna need as much help in the field as you will here in HQ. So, what if I joined your squad? At least until you find your feet.
Sure. Who wouldn't want a self-confessed spy following them around? What do you have to offer us?
Well, I know this city like the back of my hand. And this city knows me. My time in the Marshals means I've got connections and trusted informants everywhere.
That is a good point.
Plus, I'm a sure shot and a decent scrapper. And, though it hurts my civic pride to say it, there are places around here where those things might come in handy.
All right. You know what? You can tag along, at least for now.
Great. I'm at your disposal. Lead the way.
Companions. You've recruited your first companion. Companions are a unique kind of squad member. Unlike the Rangers you create, companions are pre-made characters that have their own personality and agenda. Piss them off and they could leave you high and dry. You can have up to 6 characters in your squad. Up to 4 of them can be Ranger recruits, leaving at least 2 spots open for companions. Might as well take a few. It couldn't hurt. Much. Yeah, I'll bet. Inventory intro. A bit late for that one, but welcome to your inventory. In case you haven't figured it out, this is where all your stuff is stored. Don't worry, you can carry as much stuff as you want. Accessing item options. You can right-click on any of your items to see extra actions you can do with them. For example, this is an easy way to quickly heal up your rangers after combat. Viewing stats. To view your character stats, you can select Show Stats. These stats are primarily driven by your attributes, but some skills also influence these stats as well. Field stripping. Any weapon can be broken down into spare parts by field stripping it. If you have a very low barter skill, you can sometimes get a better price from merchants for the parts than the weapon itself. As you get better at weapon modding, you can also get weapon mods from field-stripped weapons. Oh, that reminds me, we do have that armor mod we found. There it is. I guess we could use it if we wanted. Though I suppose the real question is whether we have any armor that's actually worth modding. I think that's permanent. The Convincer. Quan likes to flash his customized rifle when things get tense. One glance can often win a fight before he even pulls the trigger. Attribute spread's pretty standard. Very low luck. And he is skilled in persuasion and sneaking. Not something we really need, but he is handy in a fight. Ah, and no perks. I don't think we get those until level 4. Alright, let's go crack those locked containers we saw. Whoops. Lula, if you please. Old Journal. This journal has a plastic holographic cover, featuring a jet that banks and turns, depending on the angle you look at it. On the inside of the cover is written, Journal of Alley Blue. Well, we'll have a look at that in just a second. Around the world in 800,000 days. The thrilling and inspirational tale of a snail's journey to circumnavigate the globe. Found that in the alpha, still amusing. Alright, let's have a look at that journal we found. The pages of this journal are yellowed with age, and the ink has faded with time in many of the earlier entries. It appears to have belonged to someone named Alley Blue. The last entry reads, November 30th, 2059. Gabriel Reyes and Althea Wesson came to our compound today. There was a tense bit where Sydney shot at them, but fortunately Jordan was there and recognized them from that time over in Balkan Park. They brought some coffee, and we talked over a warm drink. It was nice, civil, pleasant even. Strange to not be at the throats of someone not in the family. But that was the whole point, I suppose. They want us to head back into the city next week to meet with a man named Saul Buchanan. They even suggested relocating to Colorado Springs. Abandon the Peterson. Imagine that. We've been safe here for years, and they want us to move out and, what, become neighbors with them? And those despicable Knoxes? We'll go to the meeting. They said this Buchanan fellow's very persuasive, and they promised us a tin of that coffee, so it won't be a total loss to check it out. But I'm certainly bringing my guns. Interesting. You know, there are some elements of the Patriarch's story that don't really seem to add up. This journal might actually be intended to serve as a clue to his true nature. I mean, based on what we're reading here, these people don't sound like they were raiders or anything. I guess they'd be refugees, like the Marshal mentioned. But if the Patriarch negotiated peacefully with them, why would you leave her journal behind? Another thing that did jump out at me earlier, though I didn't mention it at the time, was the Patriarch is supposed to be providing vital supplies, including food, to the Desert Rangers back in Arizona. But he also outright told us that he can't even feed his own people because the Gippers have turned against him. It just doesn't seem to add up. Though I suppose that's something we'll delve into in the full campaign. Anyway, we are past the 50-minute mark, so I think we're at a pretty good stopping point for now. We'll pick up here next time, as we check out the rest of our base, and maybe head out to Colorado Springs. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the fan-run Discord server, the official Facebook page, the official Twitter feed, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Fig. Links are in the description.